So working in the ophthalmology area is incredibly motivating, and there's a couple reasons. The most obvious, of course, which I believe most people in this industry, whether physicians or pharma or regulatory, it's the fact that you're really helping to prevent, cure, and treat eye disease. And eyesight is so integral to who we are as people that it's very, very motivating. But the other area that I have found in ophthalmology that inspires me is the tremendous collaboration that occurs between physicians who practice medicine, the industry, and actually our regulatory bodies as well. It's one of the tighter knit groups of people and how we interact together. And ultimately, I think that creates much, much better options for patients and getting therapies to patients. I've been so impressed by that. Unfortunately, in other therapeutic areas, and I have broad experience in many other therapeutic areas, what I have seen is that there's these big walls that have been put down between the various organizations that work in the field. And I think it's sad. And I certainly hope as ophthalmology continues to grow, and it will because of the aging of the population and improved treatments, that we don't lose that. Well, one of the areas that we really incorporate into EyePoint about eye disease and ophthalmology is that first and foremost, we have our corporate values, and everybody has them, I know, and it can tend to just glaze over people's eyes. The biggest issue is you have to live them, and if you don't live them, then they become not worth anything. One of our top priorities in our company and top values is patient first. And so we often talk about if we've got to make decisions that in any way impact patient care, we're always going to opt on the side of patient care first as opposed to the bottom line. And that applies whether it's ophthalmology or other areas. And then, of course, I talk constantly, as does our leadership team, about just the incredible value that we're bringing to patients in preventing eye disease for YUTIQ with uveitis, which is a terrible disease, posterior segment uveitis. And then, of course, now even with DEXYCU, getting rid of steroid drops, at least potentially eliminating steroid drops. So it's all very motivating for people. And I often tell young people in the industry, and even outside of the industry, I would much rather get up and go to work each day helping patients improve their eyesight than going to work each day and maybe selling a consumer food or some of the foods. In fact, I don't even know that healthy. I'm a bit of a health nut. So to me, that's incredibly motivating. Well, we've had some incredible opportunities and milestones in this year, and it's transformed the company. So the first big milestone was we acquired Icon Biosciences. This all happened on March 28th. And of course, they had DEXYCU and their Verisome technology. DEXYCU had just received FDA approval, so that was all very exciting. Concurrent with that, we also brought in $80 million in capital, a combination of $60 million from Essex Woodlands and then another $20 million in debt from SWK. So we basically recapitalized the company. And we all know we can't do what we need to do if we don't have capital. So that was very, very motivating and helpful for the company. Then we delisted from the Australia Exchange. We've always been listed on NASDAQ. We delisted from Australia. And again, that was problematic when you're a U.S.-based company and you're trying to raise capital. It's very tough on the Australian exchange. They put a lot of constraints on you. But the other big issue is we rebranded the company from Cyvita to EyePoint. And part of that is because we've reconfigured the company into a specialty pharma company, commercializing our own products. The prior company, Cyvita, fantastic technology, but it really just focused on R&D. So we're well on our path towards that. Then we received YUTIQ's FDA approval this October 12th, and that was, again, very exciting for us, having another product approved by the FDA that we developed in-house. So we have got a fantastic year ahead of us as we launch 2 FDA-approved drugs in ophthalmology. Well, the best piece of advice both I've received and I've given is that you need to maintain a clear line between work and your personal life. Now, we all work 24/7. I do as well. But learn how to compartmentalize. That may mean that you're doing emails at 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. That's fine. But you need to also make sure that you're compartmentalized and shutting down during key time periods. I see too many people who've burnt out, number one. Number two, they've sacrificed their family. That to me, if you sacrifice your friends and family, ultimately these jobs all end and you're left with not a lot. So I've always been very clear about that in my own personal life. I take time. In fact, right after this, I'm going bike riding on a trip with friends and family because I'm going to make sure I do that. And by the way, that's what also gives you longevity, is if you continue to pace yourself. Well, first of all, I would hope that OIS, I think you're already looking at doing this, is going into other therapeutic areas. Because as I said, one of the things about ophthalmology that I have found so compelling is the collaboration that goes on between industry, regulatory bodies, and the practicing clinicians. OIS has helped facilitate that. So I applaud OIS for doing that, and I would hope you would take these pre-sessions and meetings before congresses to other therapeutic areas, because I think it's so critical that we learn to collaborate closer together, particularly with the genomics and the revolution that's occurring in different areas. Tight collaboration becomes increasingly important.